We think about mental health and physical health as being two distinct things. But in reality, we are one thing. We are one human, right? One body and one mind that are together. And so if we want to achieve optimal health, whether you're talking about physical health, emotional health, mental health, we have to think about what fuels our body and how healthy we're living our lifestyles. So food is really the foundation of all the things that keep us healthy.
And further proof of that is the effects of stress.
And this is a question that has boggled psychologists for decades, is why when two people are under the same conditions, does one thrive and the other really succumb to the effects of stress in a more negative way? And what's emerging from this is that our mood and our perceptions of the stress around us are not just dictated by all of the standard things we would typically think about, but inside of us, there is an entire ecosystem of microorganisms. So yes, there are bacteria and viruses and all of these other parasites and microorganisms that we have co-evolved with throughout our evolution of humans, and they help us keep us alive. So what do these bacteria have to do with perceived stress? Well, we actually know that this microbiome, as we call it, is our second brain, and it communicates to our brain, and they work in tandem. It's known as the gut-brain axis. And this pathway of communication actually is showing that when we have a healthier gut, when all of those microorganisms living in our body are thriving and happy in a cooperative way, well, then we perceive our environments as less stressful. You know, when we think about having a healthy gut, it all starts with first do no harm. So removing the bad. What does that mean? Well, our environment is plagued with toxins. There's external toxins, like toxins we get from eating foods they might look like food, they might be packaged as food, but they're actually ultra processed ingredients that have little food actually in them. These are things like the ultra processed foods, refined grains, trans fats, extra sugars. A lot of times things that are packaged as low fat or diet, or anything that looked like it was made in a factory. Those types of foods, they're part of the standard American diet, but they wreak havoc on your gut microbiome. Other things like the beauty products, the personal care products, the cleaning products we use, over-the-counter medications that are very common, antibiotics often wreak havoc on the gut, environmental stressors, other, infections even that we may have could wreak havoc on our gut. So our general lifestyle, the more we pull away from a real natural lifestyle and the more we introduce toxins into our life, the more our body responds. And these little bacteria that live inside of us, they respond in a big way.
Now, one of the diets that you actually recommend is the Mediterranean diet. What is it about that diet that really helps with gut health?
The Mediterranean diet is heavily plant-based, and in particular, it really promotes diversity in plants and an abundance in plants. Plants that are minimally processed, they are pesticide-free, ideally, they're seasonally rotated and locally grown. These are the things that your body needs, and the diversity in those different plants and the phytonutrients really help a diverse bacterial population in your gut thrive. But the Mediterranean diet is not just about plants. It's also about eating real foods that grew from the earth. I like to say, was your food alive at one point? Did it grow from the earth? Was it a plant or was it grown in a plant? Because the more we could pull back to the foods we were designed to eat, so fruits, vegetables, whole grains, I typically suggest people think about removing gluten if they're thinking about gut health, which is a whole nother topic for another day, but getting their fats from extra virgin olive oil, beans, nuts, legumes. These are things that we could eat on a daily basis that help our microbiome thrive. And when our microbiome thrives, we as whole individuals, mind, body, and emotions are thriving as well.
You have a list of things that you should eat regularly, moderately, rarely, and we'll post that on our website. But I want to talk about this really quickly. Water, drinking water. Why is that so important?
And it really helps with the detoxification pathway. So any of these toxins that are coming into us, all of those things that I just described that could wreak havoc on your system, we have tools to help get rid of them. So our water is a source that could help us sweat, help us, all of our typical elimination pathways. The water is the way that this is helping our whole body process.